I belong to the Yazidi community, which is an ethno-religious minority indigenous to northern Iraq. My people were targeted by a genocidal campaign led by ISIS in the August of 2014. Sinjar is the region in which most Yazidis live. It's a mountainous area. In my hometown, it's a small one. The population was about 2,000 individuals. It was a difficult life even before ISIS. I was 9 years old when the Iraq war started. And right after that, Al-Qaeda started targeting Yazidis again because of their religious identity. In the extremist groups, they view them as devil worshippers. They think that they don't have the right to live. I'm among the first generation of Yazidis who had the chance to go to school. We thought we can make a difference and we can ensure the rights of Yazidis in the future. Most of the problems we have is lack of education, like ISIS came out of ignorance. I graduated high school in 2013 and I was accepted to the University of Mosul where I wanted to go to the medical school. I was not able to continue my studies in the University of Mosul because in the first month of the school year, Al-Qaeda killed 2 Yazidi bus drivers and distributed flyers saying that any other Yazidi student who comes to school will be killed too. I didn't imagine my life without college. I saw my dream being destroyed before my eyes. I thought that maybe next year it would be better and I would be able to continue my school, but the very next year it was the genocide.
Tens of thousands of them possibly still trapped inside that old city.
ISIS invaded Mosul in June of 2014. Mosul was about 2 hours drive from my hometown. We could sense the danger. ISIS was advancing, like every day they will invade another town and they were approaching Sinjar. But we never imagined that a tragedy on this scale could ever take place, that in the 21st century that there will be slave markets in which Yazidi women are sold as property. ISIS itself was publishing its crimes. It would publish videos of them executing people. That's how they spread fear and that was their strength. They were not only killing people, but they were also destroying a heritage. At the time when ISIS attacked, I was in a city that was 6 hours away from my hometown working. It was the morning of 3rd of August. I received a phone call from a cousin of mine. He said, Hazim, we are walking to the mountain and ISIS is coming. Tell your mom and family to escape too. All my friends were in that town, people I grew up with. Unfortunately, not all of them were able to escape in time. They either got killed or captured. After I joined my family in Duhok, I spent about 5 months with my family in the refugee camp. Those were, I think, the only time in my life in which I completely lost hope. I thought that, nothing can be built again. I thought everything was destroyed forever. One day I heard that YASDA, which is a humanitarian organization, being established to support the survivors of the genocide. The scale of the tragedy gave me a sense that I have an obligation. I packed my bag and I was back to Iraq the next day. I started volunteering with YASDA in January of 2015. I was working as an IT specialist. I'm a self-taught programmer and they needed those skills. I designed 2 databases. One of them was to store all of the interviews and the information we collected about the Yazidi women who survived sexual enslavement. And the second one was for the medical clinic to help us track the medication and the medical records. I had been working at YASDA for about 9 months when Matthew Barber, a University of Chicago grad student, returned to Iraq to work there as the executive director. Matthew introduced the idea to me. I never heard about the University of Chicago before. I was hoping that someday I can go and continue my education. Yazda had been supporting a Yazidi survivor whose name was Nadia Murad, and she escaped ISIS slavery and became a human rights activist. It was through that human rights activism that Nadia got to know Amal Clooney. And there I met George Clooney and his parents, who offered to help me come to the United States. It was a hard decision to make, leaving home, people I grew up with. The Clooneys, they did everything to make sure that the transition was as easy as possible. They made me realize that home is not only a place, it's people who create new memories that can last for a lifetime. In April of 2017, I applied to University of Chicago and was accepted in May. As I'm continuing my studies, I'm still trying to raise awareness about the Yazidi genocide and the refugee crisis in these kind of issues. It's not over. There are still hundreds of Yazidi women missing who were taken as sex slaves by ISIS. Those who committed these crimes, they're still out there. They haven't been brought to trial. I think everyone can make a difference, and we all have a moral responsibility to stop these crimes, not just against the Yazidis, but against anyone, anywhere in the world.